Today, we're on the Rust Console staging branch to take a look at electricity. So this would be the first look at electricity for the console edition of Rust. And right off the bat, I can tell you there are a lot more items here than I expected. This is much better than the first initial release of PC. So I'm going to go over all these items and show you some really cool circuits that you can build with this. So right here, starting off, you got an AND switch. This means that basically both those lights need to be green for the middle one to be green and have electricity flowing through it. That's a really useful tool, by the way. Next up, you've got an audio alarm that's going to emit a loud warning alarm when powered. So this might be something that you can use to alert yourself when someone has maybe opened a door or crossed a certain threshold. You've got a button. It's a button. Next up, you've got a counter. This is something that's going to count how many times it's basically had power go through it. So you can do a lot of really interesting things like this. For instance, if you've got a clan, you could maybe see how many times people have gone in and out of the doors. Next up, you've got a door controller. This is what you're going to use to make trap bases or doors that auto open. Next up, you've got a blocker. This object prevents basically power from going through when it's receiving two inputs. Your two power inputs. Next, you've got an electricity branch, which just branches power off. After that, you've got a root combiner, which takes two electricity sources and combines them. Next up, you've got a memory cell. This is a 1-bit storage component. Set input will set the value to 1. Clear input sets the value to 0. Output will provide connected power if value is 1. So this is sort of something that you can use to this. I'm not even 100% sure what you can do with it. I know you can do some really advanced stuff with it, but I haven't gotten that deep into electricity yet. Next up, you've got a RAND switch. So this is a random switch. So basically every time it receives power, it's either going to allow electricity through or not. It's completely random. Next up, you've got an elevator that is, well, an elevator. Now you've got an HBHF sensor. This is a heartbeat, breathing, humidity, and footsteps sensor. Basically, it detects humans within 10 meters. I think it was 10 meters that said, let's check. Yeah, 10 meters. After that, you've got a large rechargeable battery. This is how you store power. Now you've got a laser detector. This is how you can trip if someone it's basically a laser that's going to trip if someone walks through it. Next up, you've got a medium rechargeable battery, an OR switch, which is going to allow power to go through if either one or the other sort of power input has power going into it. If it's both, I believe it does not power on. I could be wrong on that. Next up, you've got a pressure pad that's going to allow power to go through when someone's standing on it. So again, another trap-based component. A small rechargeable battery, which sort of makes sense. A small generator, that goes without saying. A large solar panel, you know what that is. A splitter, which is going to split electricity signals into 3 signals. Here you've got a storage monitor. So this attaches to the tool cupboard or a large storage box to monitor container components. So it sends a pulse whenever the containers are updated, so you can see if someone's putting something in or out of your TC or a large box. Again, this could be good with clans. Next up, you've got a switch. So this is basically you just turn it on and electricity goes through it. Now you've got a timer, which will allow electricity to pass through for a certain duration. Now you've got a wiring tool. This is something everybody needs. You need this to lay wires, which is what you need for basically anything you want to do. Next, you've got an XOR switch. So with the OR switch, I was wrong. The OR switch is going to allow power to pass through if one or the other branch has power or both of them have power. An XOR switch means that it can only pass through if one branch has power. So either the first branch or the second branch can have power, but if both have power, then nothing goes through. I'll show you how to use these later. Don't worry about this. Next, you've got a flashing light. It's a blue light. A siren light, which is a spinning light. You've got an igniter, which can ignite objects such as furnaces and campfires when power is received. Next, you've got a Tesla coil, which is an electronic trap that zaps nearby players when powered. And then down here, you've got some more items. You've got a ceiling light. You've got a computer station. So that's sort of remote access. You can use this with sensors and stuff to do some pretty interesting things. I haven't played around with these too much, if we're being honest. Next up, you got an electric heater. That's something that you can use to heat your base. You get a reactive target. So I'm not 100% sure why this is in the electricity branch. I don't think this has anything to do with electricity. Now you've got an RF broadcaster, which broadcasts a signal, an RF receiver, which receives a signal, a wind turbine, which you can use to get electricity. You've got an RF pager, which will produce a tone when it picks up a signal from a frequency that's listening to. So basically, let's say you have an RF broadcaster, an RF receiver. Maybe the RF broadcaster will broadcast to your RF pager when there's a raid going on. I'm not 100% sure how you can use it with the computer station. Usually computer stations, those you use to view security cameras, I believe. So maybe you are going to be able to view security cameras on certain monuments and things like that. I haven't played around with that yet. And now here you've got a searchlight. So that's all the components that you will get with the electricity branch. Now let's go ahead and make some stuff, okay? Because I think that would be cool. So first off, we're going to do just a basic switch that will turn on a light, let's say. So we're going to go ahead and make a battery. We're going to make a solar panel because we need to get power. Then what we're going to need is a switch. So let's go ahead and make that switch. And then let's go ahead and grab a ceiling light. So no longer are you going to be using low quality. Now you're going to be using electricity. So first off, we're going to have to hang a light like so. Next off, we're going to need a solar panel to go up. So let's go ahead and get on the roof here. Just throw down the solar panel. The solar panel obviously needs to have access to the sun. Now let's put in our switch. Let's put in the battery, and let's grab our wiring tool and go. So here's how it's going to work. The solar panel should have one place that you can connect to that's going to basically send power out. So let's see, that would be right here. This is electricity output. So you can just go right through the wall. Let's try and keep this neat. So we're going to pin it to the wall of the wire. We're going to run it down, then we're going to run it across, and there should be an electricity in switch. So this is power in, so the power in is going to go through here. Power out, we're just going to connect that again to the wall so it doesn't look too bad, and connect it here. So we've got the switch. So basically you've got switch off, switch on. So these are two electricity components that you could use to turn switch on or off. These are going to be really nice for trap bases. I'll show you how to use that later. And then here, this is just where the power goes in. So that's where the power goes in for that switch. Now let's go ahead and connect the power out to our ceiling light. It's right there. So now if this is done correctly, what's going to happen is when I turn this on, the light comes on. So bing, bang, boom, you have a very, very basic circuit. And when there is the sun out, what's going to happen is it's going to be collecting, well, this large solar panel is going to collect power, send it down to the battery, and then at night, the circuit will still be able to run because it's connected to the battery. So you can see right here the capacity of the battery. It has 150 RWM. Right now it's got 19. It's got 6 minutes and 17 seconds of charge left. You can see the battery counting down because this is using power. And yeah, that's the electricity branch. Now let's say that you want to put in another light. So let's go ahead and throw another light down, okay? What you're going to see is the battery's not going to last as long the second we connect this light. So you can see 5 minutes, 57 seconds. So let's go ahead and connect this light. Light goes on, and now all of a sudden we've got 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So that's basically how power works for Rust. And that's how you can make a basic light switch circuit. But let's say you want to do something more interesting. So from now on, I'm going to assume that you know how to hook a solar panel and all that up. And what we're going to do is we're going to skip the solar panel step and go right to just a small battery. When you create them, they have a bit of charge, and we're just going to use that. So now let's say you want to make a switch that is going to open a door when you throw it, okay? So what you're going to need is you're going to need a switch, just like that you can throw. And then you're going to need a door controller, which is up here. So this is going to be a little bit easier probably than a lot of you think. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's control the door. So we're going to go ahead and make our double door. Let's do armored because we're cool like that. I'm going to do armored with a wood frame because that makes sense. So there we go. We've got our door down. All right. So let's go ahead and throw our battery down. Boom. Throw our switch down. Boom. Throw our door controller down. The door controller just needs to be near the door. So I believe you could put it here. You could put it here. Just usually you want to get it like sort of right there by the door, just so you make sure it locks to the right door. You can see here you can pair it to the door. So you click X, pair it to the door. Now let's go ahead and run the power out up to the switch. Let's run this switch up to here. Let's connect it. Oop, I missed that connection there. So let's connect it. So now you can see power is going through it. It shouldn't be using anything on the battery because we haven't activated it. We haven't activated the switch yet. Let's go ahead and turn it on, and the door opens. turn it off, and the door closes. So now you've got a switch that controls your door, okay? Now let's say you only want that door to open. Let's say you're making a trap base, okay? So let's say you only want that door to open when someone walks by. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this sensor. So this is gonna detect the person. And we're gonna wire that to this sort of where we have it. We have a switch on. So it's gonna turn the switch on. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna put that out here. Let's find a place to put it. Actually, let's just put it down here. It'll be easier, whatever, right? Oh, maybe we can't put it on foundations. Okay. We'll just put it here. It's fine, it's fine. We're not actually trying to do a trap, so it is what it is. So now you need power in and power out, okay? So let's go ahead again, open this door. And now what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to disconnect this. So to disconnect, I'm just gonna pick it up. So I should disconnect it. And now what we're gonna need is a splitter. So this is gonna split the electricity coming into it. So here we go, we're gonna create our splitter. So what the splitter is going to do is it's going to take electricity in and split that electricity so you have 3 different branches that can take that electricity. So the power goes in and now 3 little sort of branches here have the power coming out. So one of those branches has to go to the switch. So that's going to make sure that our switch is still powered. Oop, sorry, little controller issue there. So let's hook that up and we can just turn off, turn on. And again, right now when it's on, the battery's wasting power. So let's say we don't want that to be the case. What you can do let me see. So we can just pick that up. Let's set it down again. Now we just pair it to our switch. Now what we've got to do is turn the switch off, okay? And pair it to the switch when the switch is off. So the natural state's going to be closed. Oops. So I messed that up. Hold on. I forgot to pair it to the door. So you can see this does get a little confusing. So let's go ahead. Let's connect the switch. So first off, let's make sure this is right. Let's turn it off. So it's off. Usually you think that the switch would be going the opposite way. At least I think in the US it's the opposite way. I think in Europe this is how it works. Up is off, down is on. I think that's how it goes. In the US it's up is, I could be a complete idiot, but I believe it's up is on, down is off. So up is off and down is on. That always throws me off. So let's pair it to the door. Now let's go ahead and flip that switch. We turn it on, door's open, we're using battery. Turn it off, door's closed, we're not using battery. Also note, I can still open this door, which is really great. So now we need to power our sensor and make the sensor do a thing. So we're going to take the power out. Let's run it across here. Let's connect it to here. It says power in, power's coming in. So now the sensor's working. Now let's go ahead and make it do a thing by powering it to our thing. So this is going to turn the switch on when it flips. So exclude authorize, exclude others. So what you can do is you can close the switch. Let's go ahead and do that. Oops. Oh, I see what's going on. So what should happen now is when I set off the sensor, it turns on the thing and flips it open. So let's turn this off again. And now when I go in front of it, should flip. Obviously this doesn't always work. So we did mess something up. We've got to just check how the power is flowing. Turn on, turn off. So I think maybe I needed to power it to turn off. I think that might be where we went wrong here. So I guess you can hold a back click to clear the wiring. I didn't realize that. All right, so let's go ahead and do turn off. Okay. So if we have it on, now when we walk in front of the sensor, It turns it off and closes the door. Okay, so that's going to be how that closes. Obviously, this isn't the best scenario because now your doors are either sitting open or sitting closed. So how would you reset this? So this is where it gets even more confusing, and this is where you've almost got to use timers or some sort of more interesting setup to do. So let me go ahead and take a look at this. So you can see we've got power in, power out, and that's it. So now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to do this to another splitter, and then we're going to need to do some interesting stuff with that. So let's go ahead. Hopefully you're following along. If you're not, I'm going to have some guides. I just wanted to show some things that you can do with the electricity branch. So let's go ahead and make a splitter. Bing, bang, boom. We've got that. Now let's go ahead and make a timer, which is going to allow power to pass through for duration, and then it's going to cut the power, if that makes sense. So I'm doing this all on the fly, so give me a break if I do wire things badly. Sometimes you've got to think about it too. There's like no harm in having to think about things because it can get very, very confusing. So now let's wire it. Let's wire it to the splitter, so it's going to be power in. Let's see for the timer, we've got power in. Toggle on. So this is electricity in. This is going to be when the timer's set on, and then the timer is going to randomly flip off. So I think what we're going to have to do is something where the power comes from here, and this is going to be what sets the timer. So this is going to be what triggers the timer. This over here we can use to power the timer, because why not? And then the timer itself is going to be connected to, I think we're going to do switch off. Right? So what do we set the timer to? Let's do 10 seconds. Let's do 5. All right, timer's set to 5 seconds. So we can go ahead and flip actually, hold on. Let's test it first, right? So we flip the timer, you wait 5 seconds, it's gonna flip off. So now let's flip it again. Do the doors open? They don't open. Okay. So you're debugging this with me here, folks. So let's go ahead and try this again. So I think we need to do to turn on. And there we go. It turns it on, opens the door, and then in 5 seconds when this goes off, I believe the door should close. And that does it. So now what we've got, you run by here, the sensor picks you up, or it should at least. Oh, I see what's going on. My battery died. Oh, man. Okay. So we're going to need to throw down a solar panel. I was a little bit remiss when I said no solar panel. Let's just close the doors. Let's try it again now. Do we need to? So that activates that, turns the door, opens. Then when this deactivates, it closes. So now let's go set off the sensor. You can see sensor gets set off, the doors open, and now in 5 seconds they should close. Boom. There we go. And since the sensor's still sensing me, it is going to keep opening the doors as long as I'm around. But yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. That one got a little too confusing in my opinion. But you can see now how that would open up, and that could be used to create some traps. So let's go ahead and do a pressure pad. That's probably going to be a little bit easier, maybe. Let's give that a shot. So let's do the pressure pad. Let's make it open a door. And let's use a battery to power that pressure pad. So again, this is a fairly simple concept. I got a little too complicated with that last one. Even for me, I couldn't follow that. Like as I was talking, I'm like, this should work. There's things that are going wrong. You can see I'm gonna come out with some really good guides, but it's gonna take a little bit of time. But let's do the pressure pad just to show you how that works. Oops, I've made 2 batteries. I need to make a door. Let's do armored doors again because that's cool. We don't even need a splitter for this one. This is a really basic thing. So So you throw down your pressure pad like that. Throw down your battery like that. Throw down your door opener like that. And then all you've got to do is energy output from the battery into the pressure pad. Out of the pressure pad, what you're going to want to do is go to your door opener. And then you pair that to the door. And now when you walk on top of the pressure pad, the door pops open. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, I can see all the wires. Once you don't have your wiring tool, you can't see the wires. Also, I believe, let's give this a shot. I believe you can throw a rug over this and it'll still work. But let's just test that out because I'm not 100% on that. Let's go with the big bearskin rug. Oop, is it not going to work? Not enough space. Maybe it won't work. Okay, so pressure pads aren't quite as nice as I thought they would be. Let me just confirm that right here. See if I can throw it down here. So I could. So let's put that down. Let's see if we can put a pressure pad down on top of it. I just want to test this out. Again, like I said, this is a first look, so you can. So that might be how to do it. So now you can see you've got that hidden pressure pad, and that's what I wanted to do here. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't allow it. I think you've got to do it in a different order than I did it in. But yeah, you can see how that would work where if you put that rug down, now all of a sudden someone walks in, door pops open, they get blown away. So let's do another thing. Let's say you just want to count how many times a door opens. Right? Like that shouldn't be too hard. Or actually, I haven't tried that yet. I could be wrong about that. Let's do a laser detector, okay? So when someone walks in front of your door, we want the laser to go off, open your door, and then let's say you got shotgun traps inside that'll blow someone away. So again, we're going to be using that door controller. So let's go ahead and do that. So do this. Do a laser. Let's put our door in, because if you don't have a door, you can't really control it, right? Doors in. Put the door controller. Link that to the door. And now again, this is going to be a pretty easy one. So you have power in, power out. Let's clear that. That was ridiculous. So now you're going to pair this up to your laser. So where was that laser? Right here, wasn't it? It says power in, power out. All it's going to do is go up here. You open it up. Let's try this. So you can see this laser just shines away, right? Walk in front of it, and door opens up, boom, it closes. So literally it just opens up, it shoots you. Second you're dead, it closes. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking like, Serial, this is just, it's too obvious, okay? It is. I agree with you. So let's make it a little bit less obvious. This is something a lot of people won't tell you. Go ahead and create a sleeping bag. Pretty innocuous, right? If you place that down, can block the laser. Now, unfortunately, this laser is too high, so we're going to have to reset it. I'm going to show you. We're going to do it. Hopefully, I'm picking that up and not the door. I am. So let's go ahead and put that laser just a little bit lower. Maybe like right there. Let's power out. It goes right here. Goes here. This one power in. Whoops. Oh, so it still does show. So I guess in the console version of Rust, the laser does show through. So let's try blocking it with something else. Because in the PC version, you could block it. So maybe we'll go ahead and use a campfire. So that down instead. There we go. That blocks it. Now the question is going to be, does it still set off the laser? So let's see. That's the door controller. So now let's walk in front of it like that. It does open the doors. Now let's go in front of this like this. It still opens the doors. So there you go. What you can see here, what I did is basically I blocked the laser with something so you don't quite see that red light. And this way it's a little bit less obvious that you've got some sort of trap base here with the lasers. All right, so we've got one final circuit to do. I know you guys are probably getting tired. We've been doing this for a little bit. I was having fun with it. Hopefully you guys like this video. Hopefully you guys like the experimenting. So what should we do? Let's just do a little bit of a noise, okay? Let's play with this. Let's say what you want to happen is anytime someone goes into your base, you want a noise to play. So you sort of can hear it from wherever you are on the base. Maybe you put these in certain places so you can tell sort of if someone's raiding, if they're through that burst door, it goes off. Even a silent raid, you might hear it. If you're one of those people who sleeps with your game on, maybe this is a noise that you'll hear if there's a silent raid. So let's go ahead and play it. I don't even know how loud this is going to be, so I'm sort of curious about this one too. So we'll just put a sensor in here. Again, all you've got to do, power in. Where's it? Should be a power in thing here. I'm trying to find it. That's not what we want to do. Oh, I connected it to the wrong place, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Sorry, power out. Connect that to power in. And then this is going to be connected to power in here. And there you go. So now all of a sudden, the second someone walks in, something goes off. And let's say you only want it to be other attackers. So now you can do exclude others. So now if I wasn't authorized on the TC, that is what's going to set that off. Let's deauthorize. And there you go. What do you think? So that's electricity for Rust. There's a lot of other cool things that we can do, and I'm definitely going to have videos doing it, but this is just a little taste of what you can do with electricity. And also you can see that battery is charging. Let's check the other battery, see if it's charging. It's not, because I left the circuit on. So that's one of the reasons too. It's really nice to actually have these power switches in here, because you can just make it so you're not really getting any power into your battery. You're not able to power it up during the day, so that's why it's important to have a switch that you can turn on and off. You can do a million cool things with this. There's people who've made like crazy contraptions. What I've shown you is just the tip of the iceberg, but hopefully it does get you interested in what you can do with power in Rust. So yeah, if you've got any questions, if you got any really cool things that you want to design or you want me to design, just let me know down below in the comments. Hopefully you like this introduction. And until next time, peace.